Hello there, how's it there? I'm Mega Kitades. Alright, it seems like game journal are getting more and more desperate. Kind of like, and some people were salty, not happy, whatsoever along the line. And when you think about it, it's actually kind of interesting because at this point of time, right, when people say that the success of Black Myth Wukong is just saying that, oh, we are the monkey, the power of monkey. But if you guys actually sit down and think carefully, right, it seems to me that while gamers can be calling themselves monkey, I feel like game journal are the real monkey now. But then again, when you think about it, the whole situation is not just only them being the monkey or along the line, but also kind of like there are also topics that we're going to talk in today random chat. It's kind of like more towards the failure of DEI. I'm not saying like going to talk too much about DEI or the failure, but it's actually more towards like based on the success of this and a few other stuff. We will kind of like covering the topic of the issue. Like it seems like when you add DEI to a game, it's gonna fail in many ways. So let's start with ref videos. Rev actually did a very good job on covering a lot of situation where he kind of point out a lot of people being hypocrite, being desperate, being salty along the line. And I have seen those information online myself. Mind you guys, sometimes when I know some people don't like permaban, but when you think about the information that is being put out, it kind of does show a lot of point that one of the things that was taught about by Rev Sun is basically that the game journal decided to say, oh, there is a drop of 2 million players in several hours. Interestingly, there was a community note indicating that people sleep. Yes, gamers are human, just like how the game desperate journalists want to indicate them as themselves along the line is that we all sleep. I mean, sure, there are some people who don't want to sleep. Maybe if you're suffering from insomnia, maybe you want to rush the game and complete the game along the line, by all means, go ahead. But the only issue is that there are people, like majority people would need to sleep so that they have the energy to play the game. More so when you look at the chat carefully that is provided by stream, is that while there is a lot of people drop after that because they need to sleep, take note the timing that actually slowly drop was on the towards the night time, and then afterwards, and then the same period people play a bit and then stop and then up. So it's being consistent that the number of players is always pretty high. It's not just because oh it dropped out 90%. No, people need to sleep. So obviously game journal capitalized on that, not using the total meaning of like the actual period. Not don't you don't zoom in like the hours, you don't zoom in on just the week. You have to best zoom in on the whole month so that you can see the average of everything, not inclusive of the sleep and break in between. So the thing is, right, game journal or game media, whichever you want to call them, just decided to go with that. And it's really kind of interesting about why would people go with like this kind of argument when people need to sleep. If game journals say they don't sleep, thinking that gamers are robots, I think they have another calling, which is basically their mind are being too delusional at this point of time. But then again, people always love to write the most ridiculous argument out there. And at this point of time, I think like it's actually fair to say that they are just being desperate. They just kind of like can't accept the loss. I mean, when I say they don't accept the loss, it's actually more so that it's been written on their article. If you actually go and take a look at like Emma goes indicating that hey, there is, oh yes, one of the journalists decided to sue people for harassment, even though she was the first to harass everyone, and a Kotaku article is saying that Black Myth Wukong is just another forgettable, also run in a crowd gen. There's nothing else gamer need to hear. Like it's you can just feel the saltiness in the like. Oh, it's salty along the line. And when you think about it, I can't blame them when their pride is like either in simpleton, they are too thick-skinned to recognize their loss, or they are just desperate, not wanting to lose. I mean, like in the 7th scene itself, their pride is so damn high, they can't take the loss. They just want to think that they want to win, they want to prove people wrong along the line, even though they have been wrong for who know how long when. I'm not saying like it has to be like who know how long went along the line. It's just more to like when you think about it, right? It's just crazy how people always go with the idea that, hey, if we are going to say that the game is not good, we're gonna say the game is not good. And more so we'll talk about how one of the things that I do highlight, and it seems to get a lot quite a few people to agree on. And the one funny thing that I'm actually kind of shocked, and totally very shocked, is that Dustborn, a game that have not even 1,000 player, got a score by IGN of a 7. One score below Black Myth Wukong given by IGN. I guess that IGN had really gone forever, because a game they claim is high or 7 score got only less than 1,000 players, peep apparently, and Wukong, who got more than 2 million peep players, get 8. It's really kind of like showing that it's kind of funny that the reason why gamers give the Dustborn a 0 or 1 or even not even a game along the line is because, from what I do know and I've seen the gameplay, number one, I mean, like if you think about it, when you add politics, DI or whatsoever into the game itself, and even the character don't even look good, obviously everyone is gonna get turned off. People not gonna play the game. Even if we mute the music, we just close the screen, the background, ignore the background, don't look at the character, just solely give it the benefit of doubt, like maybe the game itself is fun. But isn't this just kind of like the music rhythm game where everyone just go and press a button over the game? But instead of like when you play Osu or Hatsune Miku Project Diva, sorry, that when you play those, right, those are actually a rhythm game and it's all around the world, but their game is just basically a simple guitar hero, but everything is into the one point, and it looks so stupid. So the thing is, right, if you ask me will I play that game, that is really one of the rhythm game that I won't play, and no one watch me play rhythm game for who know how long when, because often more than not I need a setup to ensure that I can stream that. So the only issue is that when you think about how crazy game media have been writing so-called article, they like a game that don't deserve a high score, they decide to say, hey, we're gonna give it a high score. But a game that deserves very high score, they say, hey, we can't give it a high score because it doesn't include a few stuff. But it's kind of interesting that it happened so that in Red video that we are talking about earlier, that someone actually give a very good comment. So just to show that I actually like it, that the reason why is that the reason to play Black Myth Wukong is that it doesn't have DI, it has no microtransaction, it made journalists upset, and it's generally a good game. Now it's kind of interesting that two of the points I totally agree on, and it's actually something that a lot of recent games don't have that anymore, and that is called no microtransaction. If you guys actually think to go and take a look, like, does Black Myth Wukong require you to pay money to make yourself become good in the game, or to pay to win along the line? No, you don't need to. Like, I actually see gameplay, I've seen people talking about some of the costume that you pay extra to get it along the line in game. Like, it's kind of interesting that when you look throughout the game, there is no microtransaction, there is no indication that you must pay additional money to get stuff, to make, like, make your character have more money, or maybe make your character have more weapon along the line. And even the so-called pay to win, where you actually pay extra for the DLC, for the so-called DLC moment of dilute edition or limited edition, or whatever you want to call it along the line, that you pay extra for that. And the costume that is given to you at the start of the game, it doesn't really make you strong. I've seen a lot of streamers who got that costume, go for the game, and they still don't they still get trashed at the start of the game. So it just proved to show that the pay to win is not really pay to win, it's really just your skill issue. And it's kind of funny that I mean, like, it doesn't mean that the effect of the equipment is bad or whatsoever. It's more towards that it was actually just to give you a head start above many other players. At the end of once you reach to the end game, what you need is not the armor that you get at the start, but actually more so that is that you get to craft better armor or equipment to use for the rest of the game. So the armor at the start is something similar to the Guardian Defender of Monster Hunter, where it helped you to speed run a bit of the start, make sure that you gain enough money, or the game term I believe is called will, that you use it to craft better armor. So if people need to kill like 20-30 monster to cover armor, you just need at least like 10 or 20, you just get a head start. That was all. But once you reach beyond that, once you craft to a new armor set, you still need to start doing the same thing. So it's not really like a pay to win, and it's really a good game. But again, like I mentioned, even though that it is a good game, it is not meant for everyone. So it is understandable when there are some people who comment that they don't like the game. It just probably is not their cup of tea. So when you think about the whole scenario, it's just showing how salty, how desperate they are. It's kind of funny that one of the game journalists, senior writer or editor, whichever you want to call it, it's like she was the one to go around and harass other people, attacking other people, even to the point of trying to dox other people, and yet she is now like suing other people for what she do to others. I mean, like, it's kind of interesting that if people counter sue back and do it to them, I feel like she's gonna lose the case twice over, and she's gonna just be known as the greatest game journalist who lost every single thing at this point of time. So she decided to just sue that she got harassed even though she's harassing people. She said that she got doxed, and yet she is the one who doxed other people. She said that she was defamed when she actually defamed other people along the line. It's like, it's kind of interesting that how is she able to be so thick-skinned to write that? And I mean, like, I'm trying to give her the benefit of doubt. Like, maybe Black Myth Wukong is really not meant for everyone. Maybe it's not a good game as what they think. But when I seen a lot of people playing the game, I seen the gameplay, I in time to get the game, but not now. Reason being that I don't have the money to buy the game. I want to maybe put it on hold, but in future, if I have the means to buy the game, I'll give it a try. That's what I feel. But it's really showed how crazy people can go and say that, oh, the game is unforgettable, also run in a crowd gen along the line. It's like, dude, I actually did a comment on that, indicating that the number of assault in that article by a game media, I can only imagine they were hoping to fail. A few weeks later, I'm going to predict they would post a new article that the player base fall even more, when many had completed the game by then. So far, apparently the game, a lot of people realized that it is a game that done on loop and loop, which basically means the game you have to play plus game plus, or maybe got plus game plus along the line. People are trying to take around the first 2 weeks to see any hidden ending, and people realize that, hey, you have a bad ending on the first run through, and that is how the game's supposed to be, and that you get a good ending on the second run. And now people are trying to see, is there any more hidden stuff within for the next 2 weeks, and it's just only a few days only. So obviously, a lot of people are trying to see how much they can squeeze out of this game, and best of all, at least you get to own the game. The only thing is that I kind of like think that after everyone complete this game, right, there will, like, once they ensure there is no more juice, there is no more milk, there is no more whatever you want to call it, and that the game it is done, then that will be the time when we say that, okay, that when it dropped to the base, then we'll know that how much people is not playing the game anymore. Obviously, the reason why I put the prediction is that game journalists or game media will capitalize on that, saying that, oh, the game had fall off. If like initially when people go to sleep, they already can't make noise about it. So the second round, I can just predict that they are going to just say that, oh, the graph, okay, you guys say that they are sleeping, okay, fair. But once no people play the game, it's gonna fall off. Like, dude, people don't play the game once they complete the game, alright? There's nothing more from it, so that obviously once people complete it, people gonna move on. They're gonna see other game that they can play on, and those who play the game continuously, it's just basically they enjoy the mechanic. They want to see is there any hidden part that other people miss along the line. So obviously there will still be a few players. It's just that the moment game journalists start being desperate, it's really so insane that I feel like my prediction for them to write that kind of article is totally not wrong anymore. But I don't know. I mean, like, it's just maybe on me. But the one thing is that it got me a little bit amazed is that a game that is so racist, that is so politic, that is so ridiculous, that for some reason they say that it's a 7. Obviously, I've seen quite a lot of people saying that are they trying to pick a fight along the line. Like, there are other actually good games that actually got a 7, but they give a worse game a 7, but all those so-called Western good game, like Fallout and what's not, it's like really they give them a 7 as well. It's like the game is so-called good by many people and they give you a 7. And now a game that is not good, they give you a 7. It's like, what were they thinking? I don't know. I mean, like, if people like the game, I'm sure there will be some people who love the game. I mean, like, that it may be a biased score, who knows? I mean, or maybe the person who write the review is a person who is into that game, apparently. Who knows? I mean, like, there are really a lot of people, which I always say to each their own. But it's kind of like interesting that are they trying to mislead people? Probably yes. Because if you think about it, it just show how salty they are. But it's really not as salty as how Ubisoft is. Because the thing is, right, here Sun actually do talk about the article that I actually talked long ago about how the Japanese version is so different from the English version of the Ubisoft statement. And obviously the statement was put out. And also it's actually interesting to say that the community note was in Japanese. So obviously it got a lot of backlash from the Japan side. Like the Japanese are not happy about such a game because the game company Ubisoft indicating that the game was so-called historical accurate, that was actually a black man killing Japanese people. And the funny thing is that a lot of people, like I actually talked about this in my live stream once, that I say that there is actually a lot of Japanese people who hate foreigner, but more so because a prefecture called Okinawa that actually hate mostly that. Alright, I will say this in a simple nutshell so that you guys can understand. If anyone will do research about the crime case in Okinawa, there is actually the US military base in Okinawa, which anyone who know very well is just basically to have a base in Japan side by the US since the World War II. But the issue is that there is actually a lot of crime done by the US military located in Okinawa, where some of them either kill people or rape young lady that is located in Okinawa. So obviously, when you have such crime case about foreigner killing Japanese people, that is true. And when you have a game release about a foreigner person killing Japanese game, more so it is a black person killing Japanese people, it's gonna create some sort of traumatized within Japan. So when you actually have that game release, obviously it just show the reason why I say at that time is that it's a racist game, is that they don't understand that it is. I'm just telling them that they don't understand the logic of Japan history. They like people don't understand. Like people say that Japan don't understand the history of the country, but vice versa is the same. People don't understand that is what is happening within Japan. So it just shows how out of touch Ubisoft are, more so that they so-called claim from historical people. And I actually do talk about that video, link in the description below. Also Rev and Hill some video will also be in the link description below, that I actually do talk about how the game is really totally just being so-called racist, or it just basically is so ridiculous, and as well as the person who they ask historical accurate, the one who claimed that Yasuke is real, is all just a quack. Now later on, that I hear of an article indicating that the Japanese government couldn't find the so-called historical record of Yasuke, and more so that if that is the case, it's proof that Yasuke never exists, which I suspected. Obviously, I'm not saying that there is a possibility of his existence, but if Japan is not able to find the record of Yasuke in any form of the Japanese history, then it can be said that with a huge confident tone that Yasuke never existed in the first place and it was just a fabrication. But again, there is still no article news confirmation on that, so I will put on hold for that news. But do take note that my suspicion always tend to be on the right track, and more so that it is crazy how Ubisoft have been. And I'm gonna just put it out that the one who actually keep also saying that there is a Black Samurai, all these things, is also by the game journalists, by the game media. So at this point of time, if Japan do pull up the article indicating there is no historical accuracy of existence of a Black Samurai, then not only will it actually throw back at the game company who trying to say that it's historical accurate, but it also totally demolished the credibility of all game journalists who claim that Yasuke exists. So it's really kind of like saying that they are now desperate in so many ways. They are really being pushed on so many ways, all because of what they want, DEI. It's really the reason why DEI have been failing over past few times. It's not because we don't want diversity, equality, or inclusive. The only issue is that with DEI, there is an issue about sometime when we want additional stuff on some other stuff, but game in or anime or manga or anything that is related is totally not part of it. I don't think people understand the words called fiction because they just want to add real life logic to a fake world, and in this case, the game journalists had kind of like been and game company by the Western side. I have been trying to use DI as their main source or whatsoever along the line, and the thing is, right, when you add about like the one who started it all, the Sweet Baby Inc., it's really just show that they are all being stupid, desperate, and idiotic at this point of time, and you guys don't hear me using all these words at the same time. And I don't like to use those words if possible. Is that when you think about it, right, it really does show how a lot of crazy stuff that is happening. And obviously when you have all these things inclusive into movie, drama, anime, manga, game along the line, it's just not going to work. And when I say it's going to work, obviously it won't. So let's talk about games. In games, initially there was a time when they said that we must have an ugly looking character that was based on the real life character that looked way better. And obviously, with how a Korean developer was able to create a new tool to make a POC, people of color character that make it even look way better, way good looking, it actually kind of make you wonder, like, as what Learning the Law posted, were merely a way to put ugliness into gaming industry. But obviously, he also agreed with my point where I actually did give a different point of view, and that is basically, it was pretty obvious that technology to create good-looking character was already there. It was just them trying to push through with those characters that do not look good and claim diversity as an excuse. So at this point of time, the reason why I say that is that I actually studied in Japan, as well as that back long ago, I also studied in Singapore. And both time I had learned 3D modeling. So obviously I had seen the technology grow from how 3D Max from 2008 to a 3D Max that is in 2020. So when you ask me, obviously I know technology had changed over the years. Over 12 years, how technology to make a good looking character has always been there. The only issue is that how we make use of the program to make a good looking character. So the only issue is that the reason why I say that they are trying to push the character that do not look good as and claim diversity as a reason, as a so-called excuse or whatever you want to call it, is that when you have a good system, a good software, it doesn't mean that everyone is good on using it. It's not like you just one click and you have a good looking character. You still have to model it out, you have to make it out, and often more than not, there are some people who are not good at using the program. It's like telling a baby to cook an egg and they can't even hold on to a freaking pen. So the thing is, right, the only issue with that is that you have to have someone that is good in the program, a good talent, a good experienced person who is able to do a good character and make it. But the only issue is that obviously, like I mentioned, not everyone is suitable to use that software, and or maybe they are just not good at using that software. Who knows? But the moment they put up a character and they say, "Oh, you don't have time. You must make the game of the character out as soon as possible." Obviously, the character come out won't look good. So obviously, I'm giving them the benefit of doubt to the developer that maybe the reason why they did not make it look good is because of skills issue. But if they decided to say that it's diversity and what's not, and that there are people who are very talented, then from now on, all character that look ugly is just basically on them. But obviously, some people may not like it, but there is the possibility that they purposely made the character not look good because they are not good at using it. But again, like I mentioned, the technology is there, it's always been there. It's just that people don't know how to use it, probably because of their skill issue. But that really kind of like using DI really does kind of like water down the term, making it so muddy, so dilute to the point that DI is really like, I can if you want to add in like let the game be diverse, let the game be inclusive of stuff, or maybe let it have some sort of equality, like female are also strong or whatsoever. Like Black Myth Wukong have quite a few demon, and one of them is really basically the what they call the Spider Queen, or in Chinese term 蜘蛛精. So they are already like character that is female, and it's also freaking hard to take out because it's freaking strong. So it really does kind of like make you wonder, like, what were they trying to prove, indicating that, hey, female there is no female in the game, or there is no diversity in the game. It's like, dude, that is already in the game. It's just that if you want to add it, if you go and look out into the world, that is good looking people, not just people who don't look good. If you actually kind of say that there are the model that they based on was from someone, and it doesn't even look like someone in the world, actually someone actually indicating that the other person is a good looking celebrity, while the other one look like the auntie that you get to see at the supermarket. It's kind of like show how bad it actually look. And it's really kind of like the DI is really getting more and more bad, to the point that the recent situation as posted by Permaban, and actually more so like someone actually that actually posted it, not by Permaban, but actually someone else, and I couldn't find the source, but so forgive me for that. But that was actually indication that the Star Wars, the Accolade, actually was cancelled because that, as they claim, that the fan of Star Wars, or people who don't watch Star Wars, are unable to handle a so-called black girl or Asian man in the movie, so, or in the show, whatever you want to call it. So it's kind of funny that Permaban indicating that I am an Asian and I found no appeal to what Star Wars Accolade. In fact, I have zero appeal to anything Star Wars seen after Force Awakens. I'm not obliged to watch something I don't like just because there is an actor that supposedly represent me. It's kind of interesting that people kind of like the DI, right? It's actually kind of like when you think about it, DI also trying to indicate that they are trying to add representation of black or Asian people into movie, into game, into a lot of stuff. But it's kind of interesting that if you're looking at like Assassin's Creed Shadow, it's a game that is meant for Japanese. So why are you guys taking off a Japanese man? Is it that you can't stand a Japanese man? Is that what their implication are? Just because that people say that, oh, at least there's a Japanese lady. So I guess you find with Japanese lady but not Japanese man car. it's really ridiculous if you sit down and think about it. But the only issue is that I actually put a second comment on it and indicating that I don't watch a show or play a game just because it contains my race. Like, I talked about this in my live stream long ago, and I will say it again. If it's not good, I don't play the game or watch the show, like what they always want. Star Wars lost on me since The Last Jedi, and to me was because of the story. And I stand by my word that I did watch Force Awakens, although I know Permaban didn't watch it, but in case anyone want to know, Force Awakens was technically so-called a sequel to The Last Jedi. So the only issue to me is that the last Jetty, the story, was ridiculous. It was so damn bad. It was not even worth mentioning. But at the same time, I decided to highlight that it was that Pacific series that made me lost on Star Wars, and I really hate Star Wars after that. And if anyone asks me, do I watch the Accolade? I will be very happy to say I didn't. But the only issue is that when you have so much thing that is trying to indicating that DEI is actually trying to say that it's for a modern audience, or is to indicating that it's meant for the so-called representation of a race along the line, to me it's really not worth mentioning it, because like I mentioned, if I don't like it, I don't play the game, I don't watch the show or whatever along the line. And at this point of time, if you actually look at the success of the game of Black Myth Wukong, it showed a lot. People love the game, that's why there's a lot of players. But for other game that IGM stated that they don't like the game, it's because they don't like the game. They don't play the game. So it's at this point of time, it's really that the score given by game media is really very ridiculous. More so, it's not just because of DI, it's not because of whatsoever. It's more towards that the trust issue that the consumer have on the media itself. So if the media has been so-called putting out information that is like people know very well that they have their own trust issue at this point of time, then I think it's fair share to say that it's really we don't trust the game media anymore, and we just write whatever we feel is right. We just do whatever we think is right along the line. More so that it's really just sure that they are just trying to use DI as a cover sheet or a mid sheet or along the line. But anyway, I speak way more than I supposed to have, and it's more towards I'm being giving like different take on different point of view. But again, I'm trying to give them the benefit of doubt and what's not, but it's really ridiculous how DI kind of like became like, you have like, I do agree that DI have a very good meaning, but at this point it's really very bad. And I think I should really stand by my way of saying that they are really no longer called game media. It's actually more they should be called the game tabloid, and that's how I think it is. But I don't know. I mean, like, if you guys agree, disagree, or you have your own opinion, thought, or stuff, write in the comment below. We can discuss it further. Do we think that game media nowadays can be considered a quack, or maybe they still got some form of trust along the line? Who knows? We can discuss it further in the comment section. Then, if not, if you do like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat where I talk about stuff that sometimes follow a single trend or never follow a single trend, but for some reason, I have been talking about game media lately. But anyway, the one thing that I can hope for you guys is have a nice day or night. Bye!